So I found this article that talks about a bunch of good questions that you should ask a realtor before and after you decide to work with one. I'm a realtor for Berkshire Hathaway Verani Realty, so I thought it would be fun to go through the questions, tell you what I think of them, and answer them as well. My friend and teammate Erica Van Dissel, who's also a Verani agent, joined me on answering these questions. Half the answers are going to be on my channel and the other half are on her channel. Enjoy. All right, so question number 1 is, can I see your real estate license? This is a question I don't think it hurts to ask, but if you're meeting with an agent in their office or you're connected to them through their direct line, it's pretty obvious that they are going to be licensed.
Do you want to show them your license?
Yeah, so here is my license, because it really doesn't hurt to ask. But like I said, it's not really a super necessary one.
You can also go on to the government websites. Like I know for Maine, it's maine.gov. New Hampshire is at nh.gov.
Something like
and
that.
You can verify.
We'll put the link in the screen.
Yes, you can verify a license. So you just have to put in the name of the person that you're interviewing to either sell or buy your home, and it'll verify if they're active or not. So that's another good way to check.
The next question is, can you pass along a list of referrals?
So for this one, I think it is important to do your own due diligence when you're picking an agent. So looking on their company's website, if they have any, ratings or reviews from previous clients, and then also, testimonials, and then Zillow and Realtor. You can also search the agent that way and see what they've done.
And so I think testimonials are just as good as referrals. They are referrals. Because in general, it's not unreasonable for an agent to not want to give you their past clients' information to protect their privacy. I would say go towards the testimonials instead of asking for direct referrals to speak with past clients. Question number 3 is, are you a part-time or a full-time agent?
This is a good question.
Yeah, so I think this is a really important question. Absolutely nothing against part-time agents, but generally, with a full-time agent, this is their career. This is what they do every single day, and you're much more likely to be their priority than you are with a part-time agent.
And you want to make sure that if you're either selling or buying your home, that you're getting the attention that you need and it's not being prolonged.
Exactly.
So having a full-time agent is definitely preferred in our.
I would agree. It's the attention that you deserve. And, that's not to say that you shouldn't work with a part-time agent. I would just be much more cautious about it. Question number 4 is, how many sellers are you currently working with? So I think this question is really subjective and not super relevant because, if you go with the established and busy agent, they're going to have more listings than, versus a newer agent. So at what point is that number going to be too high, or is it going to be too low?
I also think, just going back to previous answer, going back to those testimonials that you looked up, finding that supported evidence that this agent is either qualified or not qualified to work with you is important. And then just feeling them out. If you feel like they're going to work for you and they're going to be, at your beck and call, then trust your gut and go with it.
Question number 5 is, do you have XYZ in your network? Basically, do you have recommendations or resources for every other person that you're going to need in the home buying or selling process? That's everyone from a lender to a mortgage advisor to roofers and painters. This is definitely something that your realtor should be able to do for you. It takes time for realtors to build up that network of people that they've worked with, people that they trust, but they absolutely should be able to connect you with everyone that you'll need.
I know at Verani, that the company that we both work for, we work with brokers title, we have Sheridan closing and title, we have
real estate management.
Yeah, Patta Real Estate. We have New Res for mortgage, and then outside of that, we also have our own personal connections with different offices. And then if we ever have a question on, say someone needs a painter, say someone needs a roofer in X county or X city or town, we can send an email out to our network and get the top companies in that area. So
we have no shortage of agents that we know within the company that can provide recommendations if we didn't have one. Question number 6 is, how do realtor fees work?
This is a really good question, and it obviously comes up every transaction. But I think that your realtor should be the one explaining this process to you. You shouldn't have to be asking about it. But it is a little complex if you don't understand it, so Hunter will break it down.
This is something that you should always ask about if you have any questions on it whatsoever. It's better to ask than be confused later and end up paying something that you might not have expected to be paying or be surprised by any fees. But basically how it works is in a transaction, there's two sides. There's the seller and the seller's agent, and there's the buyer and their agent. So when someone decides to sell a house, they offer up a certain percentage of the sale price as commission. There's not a number. This has to be a typical one that you've probably heard is 6%. So that 6% after this home is sold is used to pay the buyer and the seller's agent. So typically it could be split in half and each agent's going to get 3%. So in a normal transaction, the seller is going to be paying the full commission and the buyers won't have to pay any. That can vary depending on what the buyer's agent wants to be paid and what the seller is offering, but that's sort of what to expect in a typical transaction. Question 7 is, what's the best way to contact you?
So I think that this question is really important, and I think that from the beginning, you should already be getting that response from the agent. You should be getting a quick response with any questions you have. A really good agent will be responsive and on time and impressive. So,
and they'll have good recall about things that you've said to them before, no matter how long ago you said it. I think it's good. Yeah, I think a good way to test this would be, before you've signed with a realtor, before you're committed to someone, and maybe you've been talking to them, maybe they're taking you on showings, anything like that. Text them, send them a few questions a few days before you're supposed to see them, things like that, and see how long it takes them to respond. It's not a perfect test because they might just be prioritizing their clients, they might be busy, but it's going to give you a good idea of how communicative they're going to be throughout the rest of your relationship.
And also what to expect, because if you're not on a quick timeline, then they might be the one for you if they're not responding right away. But if you're looking for somebody who's going to be, really responsive and quick, then you need someone who's,
Yeah, and that's a good thing to ask someone too, when you're interviewing a realtor is, how quickly do you respond? When can I contact you? Is there a time that you shut your phone off? Because everyone does business differently. Question number 8 is, can I see a written comparative market analysis? So a CMA is a great way to determine what a home will probably sell for, and any realtor should absolutely be able to provide this for you. But it's also important that they are able to explain their reasoning and explain where the numbers and where the prices came from.
Just a rough CMA breakdown is basically when you get a selection of similar homes versus that subject property, and that comparing those two help determine what the home is worth in general, and then also what the market's doing in relation.
The other half of these questions will be on Erica's channel. I'll add the link to my video.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Test.
Real estate. I still don't know what to do with my hands the whole time. Like, how do I do with my hands? Do you have any questions on it? Because you're real.
What?
We lost it. This is confusing.
I know,
Should we just do
it's
this
always
one all
confusing
over
to ask.
again?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Yeah, that was a lot.